Hello and welcome back to another video, everyone. Today we'll be talking about one of the most anticipated A ranks in PGR history, our little gremlin, Jetavie Daybreak. Today we'll be covering her kit, rotations, memories, weapons, and investment priorities. So sit back and let me tell you all about Jetavie. But before all that, if you'd like to see this kind of content, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Make sure to leave a comment telling me what else you would like me to cover. Now on to the video. Jetavie has a fixed orb system, as is starting to become a lot more common nowadays. And there's some hidden details inside her kit that if you didn't look, you wouldn't even know is there, since the game never tells you it's there. Jetavie has two modes, and since I'm an idiot, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the second state's name. So we'll call them base state and ult state. First off, her basic attack just fires her gun rapidly. Now all signal orbs are converted to special cluster orbs, and these cluster orbs are used as fuel essentially for your other pings. Up to 3 for a full charge. Jetavie's yellow orb is the main orb you'll be using in her base state. Holding it will consume cluster orbs charging the attack. Her blue orb is pretty much the same, though it's really just there for show. Finally, her red orb can only be used in her ult state. Her first signature move does some damage and anneals the use of her red orb, which can be pinged or held, and she'll use her greatsword. Doing so will charge her second signature move. Now her second signature move will do either dark or ignition damage depending on if you did the dark or ignition rotation. More on that after this. So now let's go over a hidden part of her kit. Hidden in her core passive is a wall of text. Jetavie actually has an auto dodge built into her kit, and when she auto dodges it will fill a little gauge around her dodge bar. Now the auto dodge will consume a set amount of her dodge gauge. And if she has no dodge bar left, it will use some of the meter she's built up. Now this auto dodge is important because it can be auto triggered while she's charging her orbs, and if she does dodge, she will gain an extra damage bonus. Lastly, instead of triggering Matrix, Jetavie will charge up the gauge when she successfully dodges. And finally, let's go over her ignition effect. The way the effect works is you build stacks of combustion and then ignite them, causing the DOT effect. Now when enemies are inflicted with ignition, they will receive extra damage from ignition attacks, equal to the number of ignition stacks and multiplied by 30%. Best part, if the enemy dies due to sheer damage, the next enemies will inherit the effect. Despite seeming intimidating due to how much is in her kit, Jetavie is actually super simple to play, so let's just jump into it. She has two rotations depending if she's doing either her dark or ignition rotation. For dark, swap, hold yellow, release and ult 1, hold red till full, release and hold basic attack, ult 2. And now for her ignition rotation. Swap, hold yellow, release and ult 1, hold and release red before full, tap basic, ult 2. Now if you have her signature weapon and deadline timing, you can actually do 2 cycles instead of just 1. However, you will have to hold yellow twice instead of just once. There are 2 potential memory sets you can use on her. However, the second one is kind of niche, but we'll talk about that. For her main dark DPS set, you will want to run 4-piece Bathalon on all 3 bottom slots and 1 on the top, and 2-piece Darwin on the 2 leftover spots on the top. If you have her weapon, then harmonize Instania for extra shred. For memory resonance, go with any attack on the tops and core passive on the bottoms. The second, but very niche memory set is only going to be used if you're using Jetavie as a fill-in QTE bot for the dark attacker spot. If you are doing this, then the memories to go with are 4-piece Da Vinci and 2-piece Instania. If you have her signature weapon, then harmonize Instania for the 4-piece Instania buff. Memory resonance here doesn't really matter a whole lot, but you can still keep them any attack on tops and core passive on the bottoms in case you do swap her in. This is a new section in my guides, meant to keep things a tad more organized. Jetavie's signature weapon is ideal obviously, however it's not required, and she can work just fine with her 5-star variant. Since Jetavie is an A rank, unless you really like her, memory resonance is not a high priority. However, if you do plan to, then deadline timing and glorious afterglow are the 2 top priorities. However, which is up to you since DLT will give you the extra rotation, and glorious afterglow will increase your damage. Finally, for the third resonance, pick Incandescence. There are 2 teams that Jetavie can be on. The first is obviously the Dark Team with Lilith Daemonessa and Karenina Shear. However, the main DPS of the team in this example is Lilith, so Jetavie won't actually be doing much, unless you want her to. For budget Dark Team, run A-Rank number 21 in either Vera Rosen or Teddy Decryptor. Next up is the Ignition Team. However, truthfully, she won't be very useful here in my honest opinion, since Nanami is the enabler, and without Time Stop, Jetavie can't apply too much ignition damage. Also, the patch following Dream to the Timeless End, which is where we receive Jetavie on Global, is the much anticipated Devil May Cry 5 collab, where if you complete the event story, you will receive a free copy of Dante, who is set to be the Ignition attacker. Jetavie is an A-Rank, and due to synchronization, you can get her to Triple S Plus for free, so long as you play during your patch. However, if you're watching this much later, let's talk a little bit about investment. For free-to-plays, Jetavie's SS is the minimum required, which shouldn't be too much trouble to get. However, since she's an A-Rank, don't go spending Pain Cage skulls to get her to double S. As stated earlier, her 5-star weapon will work just fine. For low spenders, pulling her signature weapon will give her some quality of life features. However, it's up to you whether or not you pull her signature weapon. Triple S should be easy to get over time as well, which will give her extra low points for her dodge gauge. Along with this, it'll give her some extra damage. Finally, Whales. Over time, Triple S Plus should be easy for you to obtain, if you didn't already have it due to the sync. But Triple S3 will increase the damage of her first signature move's damage, Triple S6 increases her red orb damage, and Triple S Plus increases her second signature move damage. If someone told me Jetavie was an S rank before we knew her rank, I would have genuinely believed it. She simply looks that good. That said, she's honestly been my favorite A rank to play, not to mention she's so damn adorable. Such a cute little gremlin. Anyway guys, if the video helped you, then leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Make sure to leave a comment about what else you would like to see me cover. Join my Discord if you need extra help or if you want to chill with a dope community. Until next time everyone, have a great rest of your day or night, and I'll see you on the next video.